whether your father wore his heart out in prison or wasted there through many lingering years. Book 1, Chapter 4, page 29.
During the French Revolution, many people were unjustly imprisoned by the king, like Mr. Manette.
Buried how long? 18 years. Gracious creator of day, to be buried alive for 18 years. Book 1, Chapter 3, page 34.
Being in prison was like being buried alive because you had no rights and you were unjustly imprisoned for disagreeing with the king.
Mothers, we have been used to since we were as little as this child and much less, have not been greatly considered. We have known their husbands and fathers laid in prison and kept from them often enough. Book 3, Chapter 3, page.
In the novel, the Bastille symbolizes the nobility's abuse of power, exemplified by the imprisonment of Dr. Manette by Marquise.
I'm going to see his ghost. It will be his ghost, not him. Why? Because he has lived so long locked up that he would be frightened, rave, tear himself to pieces, die, come to I not know what harm if his door was left open. Book 1, Chapter 4, pages 27 and 85.
Dr. Manette's daughter, Lucy, can't even believe that her father is out of jail and alive. The conditions back then that the prisoners faced in prison sucked the life out of them and left them bodies with no souls. Lucy Manette thinks that when she goes to see her father, it will not be her father as she once heard about him. It will just be his body with no soul.
A law of the suspected, which struck away all the security for liberty or life, and deliver over any good and innocent person to any bad and guilty one. Prisons gorged with people which have committed no offense and could obtain no hearing. These things became the established order in nature of appointed things and seemed to be ancient usage before they were many weeks old.
Book 1, Chapter 4, page 336.
Revolution, it's evident the law system was very different from it is today. Being thrown in prison was an everyday matter. Guilt, innocent until proven guilty, was not used then. Anybody who was suspected to have done anything or have been even near or related to anyone who had been suspected to do anything was thrown into prison. It became just a side thing, not something that changed your life, but in reality it did.
Those who had been greedy with the staves of the cask had acquired a tiger's smear around the mouth. Page 33, Book 1, Chapter 5. This event occurs when the peasants are scrambling to lap up spilled wine pooling on the street side, representing the common people's hunger and desperation. This is both literal and metaphorical. Literal being the literal starvation and lives of poverty, metaphorical being their hunger and thirst for the just political freedom they deserve. A man dips his finger in the wine and writes blood. Later, the blood of aristocrats spills in the very same streets when mob mentality erupts.
It is extraordinary to me that you people cannot take care of your children or yourselves. One or the other of you is forever in my way. How do you know what injury you might do to my horses? Book 2, Chapter 8.
The Marquis is an archetype of an evil and corrupt social order. He is defined by his lack of sympathy and indifference to peasantry life and his ruthless aristocratic cruelty. He believes that only the rich people should be living in France. The purpose of the French Revolution is precisely to overcome this behavior.
Madame Defarge knitted with nimble fingers and steady eyebrows and saw nothing. Book 1, Chapter 5, page 38. Madame Defarge stitches a list of names of all those condemned to die in the name of a new republic. This is representing the stealthy, cold-blooded vengefulness of the revolutionaries. It appears harmless, but it in reality is sentencing victims to death. Similarly, French peasants appear simple but will eventually massacre each other. It is similar to Greek mythology. The Fates, three sisters who control human life. One sister spins the web of life, another measures it, and the last cuts it. Madame Defarge's knitting thus becomes a symbol of her victim's fate, death at the hands of a wrathful peasantry.
Father. Only his daughter had the power of charming this black brooding from his mind. She was a golden thread that united him to a past beyond his misery and to a present beyond his misery. And the sound of her voice, the light of her face, the touch of her hand had a strong beneficial influence with him almost always. Book 2, Chapter 4. Lucy Manette weaves a golden thread through people's lives and gives them a future in which they are supported
by a tightly knit community of family and close friends. Her character is a suggestion that human destinies are either predetermined by the force of history or they're tied into a larger pattern than we as individuals realize. She is also referred to as a golden-haired doll, charming just about everyone she meets with her beauty. She unites her father with his present, not allowing him to dwell too much in the horrors of the past.